Okay, yeah, so the live has started. Let's wait for a few people to join.
From Google Meet, we cannot see who's viewing us, right?
No, you are just on Google Meet. You don't worry about the Facebook thing, okay? That I am handling.
No, no.
Yeah.
Okay, if any question comes on Facebook, you
I
tell
will
me.
I will tell you. Okay, so just let's wait for a few people to join.
Yeah.
And it's still not 4 p.m. so like let's wait for 2-3 minutes. If you get a call in between, just decline, okay, Suparna? If you get a call in between, just decline, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'll just also post in the group that we are live, okay? Okay, 1 minute to go.
Just get water.
Okay, yeah, Suparna, if you also want, like, you can get some water.
Huh?
If you need water, like, you can go and get it, you also.
No, nothing right now.
Yeah.
Okay, if any question comes on Facebook, the sound is coming.
Yeah. It was from my phone.
Adil, if sometimes it's happening now when I am saying something, after some time the voice is being reached to you. So if you speak a bit slowly, it will be helpful for me to understand. Maybe because of the miscommunication.
Yeah, there is a like.
Yeah, actually, even right now there is a lag. Facebook is little behind. It's about 4 to 5 seconds behind.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. What is happening now? The words are getting kind of slowly jumbled up. So that's why if you say each word a bit slowly, it will be easier for me to understand. That's right.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. So okay, guys. Some people are with us, so I think we should begin. So Suparna, I think I'll go on mute now and you begin. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Hi guys, welcome to Crohn's and Colitis Squad. Today we are with Adil Behram Driver, and we are having a discussion on insurance and IBD. So Mr. Adil is also an IBD patient like all of us, and he is a fellow of Insurance Institute of India and founder of Wealth Avenues. Okay. So Adil, would you like to say a bit more about yourself, please?
Yeah, hello everyone. Namaste. So I think Suparna has already given us a brief introduction. So I was originally I'm an engineer. I've worked in IT company for about 16 years, and since last 4 years I started my own venture, which is Wealth Avenues. I'm still doing a job, and this is besides that. So I do investments and insurance for my clients. And I do very often get requests from the group and from my friends, etc. Where they have a autoimmune condition or any other disease that they have been through, and they usually ask me, can we get health insurance or can we get term insurance? How do we, if my claim is getting rejected or if I'm not able to get a policy? How can I, prevent a financial loss in the future? So a lot of people come to me with these kind of questions. And obviously, I myself have been affected with Crohn's for the last 6 years. So, in these 6 years, I've been hospitalized about 24 times. So, I have a fairly decent experience at claiming and in fact, one of the questions asked was, how do I ensure the claim is not rejected? So through this session, I'm going to answer that also.
Okay. Great. So Adil, my first question is like having in pre-existing chronic diseases like IBD. So can we get an insurance in India? Like what are its terms and conditions for getting an insurance for people like us?
Now, since 2013, a lot of insurance companies have put IBD as a permanent exclusion.
Okay.
Permanent exclusion means these people do not get any form of cover. Your policy will be rejected at the proposal stage itself. That being said, there are some insurers who are giving, because if you see what happens internally in a insurance company is, you first fill a proposal form, you mention, your age, your health details, everything. Sometimes, in most cases, the policy is directly, processed internally and given to your standard policy. In difficult cases, it goes to a medical underwriter. Now, the underwriter usually takes a call whether we should accept this policy, we should accept this policy with a loading, or we should reject this policy. Now, there are some kind underwriters, in some companies who will take you on board, who will allow you a policy. As recently as 2 months back, we have seen a person getting a policy. Again, those policies may be with a permanent exclusion. Like some people have a policy which clearly states that any claim related to IBD will not be paid. Some people have a waiting period. The waiting period can be 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, depending on the company. And after that, they will cover. If there is a hospitalization in between, let's say you have a waiting period of 2 years,
Hmm.
and after 1 year you get hospitalized,
Hmm.
they reset that you. So it's not that if you don't claim for 2 years, you can make a claim afterwards. Your waiting period is counted from your last hospitalization. If it falls after taking a policy, then your counter is reset.
So that means I make a policy. After 2 years, I can claim it. Maybe after 2 years or after 3 years. So after 3 years, if suddenly I get hospitalized or anything, again the counting will start, and again I will have to wait for another 2-3 years to claim it.
Yes, yes. So basically, your counter gets reset every time you get hospitalized. If there is a waiting period of 2 years, your counter is reset for 2 years. If it's a 3 year period, it gets reset for 3 years, and so on.
Okay. So how do I inform the insurance company that I am getting hospitalized and the information means?
Now, if it is a planned hospitalization, let's say somebody has to undergo a resection or something, if it's a planned hospitalization, then you should intimate the company as soon as the doctor tells you that you have to undergo this surgery or this procedure.
Mm-hmm.
If it is unplanned, let's say somebody gets a stomachache in the middle of the night and you go in an emergency, fair enough, you still have 24 hours to intimate. So anybody from your family or your friends can call up the insurance company in the 24 hours and say that, this person has been hospitalized, kindly intimate the claim.
And like, what are the terms and conditions for a pre-existing disease patient to take up a policy? Means what informations are needed, what medical things are needed?
Again, most of it is standardized. Almost all the insurance companies have a standard procedure, but companies which have a different list, of diseases which they allow or don't allow. Care procedures, companies have a different list. So, like some company covers 200 procedures, some company covers 400 procedures. Mostly things like cataract, for example, are covered in daycare. Even people who have ostomy, who have ostomy bags, and they have to go for some minor changes or corrections. Even those are considered in daycare. Again, there are certain things which you have to get admitted. Like for example, the company I had insurance with, they would cover my Infimab infusions, but they would cover it only if I got admitted for 24 hours. They will not cover it in daycare because infusion is not a daycare procedure, according to them.
Okay.
So in that case, I had to get admitted for 24 hours. If the injection will take for 4 hours or 6 hours, then I just have to spend time over there, just wait it out, get the discharge next morning, and I have to make the claim. So rules are, little different from company to company.
Yeah. So like, as the policies are varies, and the list of diseases which can be covered or not covered. So are we informed about it while making a policy that these are the diseases our company will cover if you have them?
Yes. Now the thing is, generally any company will apply, they will give you a brochure. They will give you a brochure for each and every policy, which will have an IIDA registration number, which shows that this policy is registered with IIDA, and you can find the same terms and conditions on the IIDA website also. So generally this brochure will have a very detailed, it's about 16-20 pages, normally. Some even have a 50-page brochure.
Okay.
They have very clear-cut terms and conditions mentioned. If IBD is not covered with their exclusions or permanent exclusions, if there is a waiting period, there will be a specific waiting period for each illness mentioned. Like generally, they say that first 30 days you can't claim anything except accidents.
Except?
After 30 days, waiting periods. Like for cataract or hernias, it could be 1 year. For IBD, it could be 3 years, and so on. So each specific condition along with its waiting period is mentioned on the brochure.
Okay. Okay. So only hospitalizations are covered by the insurances, right? Like for IBD, we have many diagnostics and many procedures. Not all procedures require hospitalization. So, are all such procedures which do not require hospitalizations, can we claim insurance for that without getting hospitalized from any diagnostic center or anything?
No. See, your health insurance policy basically pays you for your hospitalization and a 30-day or a 60-day pre-hospitalization period and a 60 or a 90-day post-hospitalization period. So in effect, you can claim for up to between 90 days to 150 days besides your hospitalization. Now, if your procedure is in the pre-hospitalization or post-hospitalization period, you can claim and it will be paid out. If the procedure is a standalone procedure, if the doctor says just go and get a colonoscopy, we have not done a colonoscopy for last 1 year, that will not be paid.
Okay. Can you please explain me the again
Yes,
pre-hospitalization and post-hospitalization concept?
So pre-hospitalization is the immediate 30 days before your hospitalization, and post-hospitalization is the immediate 60 days after your hospitalization, after your discharge.
All these are in case of planned hospitalizations.
So planned or emergency.
Okay.
But you have to, the main point is you have to get hospitalized. Your claim will trigger only when you get hospitalized. If you go to a clinic or you go to a lab and just get a diagnostic test done, or even if you get admitted to a hospital and just get your diagnostic test done standalone, there is no treatment done, there is no procedure done, that claim will not be payable.
Okay. Right.
Now generally, in a city like Bombay, a colonoscopy usually costs anywhere between 50 to 25,000 rupees.
Yes.
It will not be paid by Mediclaim, unless there is something discovered in the colonoscopy, there is a polyp or something, the doctor admits you and does a procedure, and you are discharged finally. Unless in that case, just getting a colonoscopy, you will not get paid.
I understand.
I'll give you an example. In 2014, I was admitted for a fistula surgery. After coming home, after discharge, another few days later, I was admitted again. And this time, I underwent a colonoscopy. Now, the claim got rejected. The claim was rejected citing that it was a standalone, there was no active line of treatment done. So at this point in time, I had to point out to the insurer that this was my post-hospitalization claim. I had already claimed in the preceding 30 days and this was covered under post-hospitalization. So they had to cover it.
Okay. Understand. So, what policy would be best for an IBD patient? As there are so many policies that include some family or individual, what is the best suited? How do we know it?
Now, this is the most commonly asked question, which is the best policy. Now, there is no such thing as a best policy. I mean, at least for us, you should buy whichever policy is given to you, in the first place if you are granted a policy. That being said, what you should look for in a policy is, what is the waiting period if they are covering IBD, what is the premium amount. Like there are insurers, which cover everything from day one. They will even cover your IBD from day 80,000 for that policy. So many people do not like taking that policy, because after 3-4 साल में premium amount is equal to the policy amount. Excuse me.
Yeah, sure.
Then another thing you should see is if that because hospitals in your area or in your PIN code. Generally, what happens is Cigna Nidhi as an insurer has most of its policies in Delhi or NCR region. So most of their network hospitals are also located in that region. Whereas in the south, PSU insurers like New India or United have better network hospitals. So network hospital coverage is also very important. Now, because if you take a policy and you don't have a network hospital, of course you can go to a hospital and make a claim later on, a disbursement claim later on. But it will be that much more difficult, you'll have to send your documents by courier. You'll have to ensure that your courier reaches them properly, otherwise if you have anything short or anything goes missing, then the whole cycle will follow, So the claim processing takes a long time in such cases.
So that means
Also, one more important thing is, for every claim free year, the company gives you a bonus. Now, sometimes it can be just 5% or even 0%. Some policies don't have like United India and New India, they don't give you a bonus. But some give. Now, that ratio is different. Companies like Star Health, they give you a 50% for 5 lakh policy. First year you don't claim, the amount increases to 7.5 lakhs. Second year you don't claim, it increases to 10 lakhs. So basically you're paying for a 5 lakh policy, you're getting 10 lakhs covered after 2 years. So try to go for such covers, where your covered amount increases very quickly.
if I don't claim at all.
If you don't claim. Now another factor is when you claim, companies like New India or PSUs, they will deduct your entire bonus in one shot. Like if I have let me give you an example. I have 2 policies, for example. I have a 5 lakh policy from New India. I have a 5 lakh policy from Star Health. In first year, I didn't make any claims. So on 5 lakh policy, I get a 50,000 bonus, 10% bonus I get. So that value is now 5 lakh 50,000. In Star, that company gives you a 50% bonus, so it is now a 7.5 lakh policy. In second year, again I don't claim. In my New India policy, again I get 50,000 bonus, it is now at 6 lakhs. In my Star policy, it is now at 10 lakhs. I can have 2.5 lakhs. So in 2 years, my policy, one has grown to 6 lakhs cover, one has grown to 10 lakhs cover. Now I am not so lucky in the third year, then I make a claim. The New India policy will reset to 5 lakhs. The entire bonus is taken out.
Okay.
The Star Health policy will not give you only 2.5 lakhs. The last bonus amount will be debited. That's 7.5 lakhs.
Okay. So after we start claiming, and again after the post hospitalization, my waiting period again gets restarted. So I will not get any more bonus.
No, in Star you will get a bonus, not for that year, but you only one slab. It moves in slabs. 50% 1 year, 50% second year. Until you hit 100%.
I am saying that suppose I make a policy and for 2 years I don't claim and Star gives me a 50% bonus. Now the third year I claimed because of my hospitalization and they covered, and again my waiting period gets restarted again. So after
waiting period and bonus are 2 separate issues. The waiting period will always reset. Your bonus, only your last bonus will be reset. So your bonus is instead of 10 lakhs, now it is at 7.5 lakhs. Again after 1 year, if you don't claim it, will again become 10 lakhs.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. After again reset, if I don't claim it for next 2-3 years, again I will get a bonus and that amount will increase to 50% of the last reset amount.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Clear. So Adil, what are the main differences between a general health insurance policy and a critical health insurance policy?
So now these are 2 completely different products. Like a general health insurance policy or your Mediclaim as they say, is a health insurance policy. It covers all sorts of hospitalization. It could be due to illness, it could be due to dengue, malaria, any illness. It could be due to an accident, you get a fracture or you hurt yourself. It could be any illness. Any human illness is covered in that. A critical care policy is only for critical illnesses, like cancer. Again, cancer also, if it's a beginning stage, it is not covered as critical illness. It is mostly end stage cancer. Then you could have, kidney failures or liver failures or, those kind of stroke patients. So those are all covered under critical care policies. The way the Claim triggers is also very different. In your health insurance, for every hospitalization, you have claim triggers. Whereas in case of critical care policies, the claim is triggered on the diagnosis of that condition. So let's say a person, out of the 36 illnesses, if he gets one illness, his claim is triggered in the critical care policy. Once his waiting period of 30 days is over, he survives for 30 days, the claim is paid out in full. So if he has a 20 lakh policy, critical care policy, only on diagnosis of the condition, after 30 days, he is paid the full amount. He doesn't have to submit any documents, he just has to submit a diagnosis note from the doctor saying that he was diagnosed with this illness.
Okay, so with this difference, so when it is better to make a critical care policy and when I should go for a general?
I would say that a health insurance policy is a must-have. You must have that policy.
Okay.
A critical care insurance is a nice-to-have. It is okay if you have that policy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a base cover and you are already protected under normal illnesses, and to enhance your cover, you can buy a critical care policy.
So suppose I have both of them from the same company and I have a critical care disease like cancer. So the company will decide, right, which policy it will give me, from which policy the money will give me.
No. Company doesn't decide that. It is, as I said, it has triggers. If you get admitted for cancer, for whatever treatment, your medical is triggered, your health policy is triggered. The critical care anyways triggers once you are diagnosed with the disease and once you surpass the 30-day limit.
Okay.
And you can get benefit from both the policies.
Okay.
Yeah, so both the policies will trigger and both will pay the hospitalization part and whatever is your sum insured in your critical care policy, that will also be triggered.
Okay. So, what are the steps that the patient should take to ensure that their claims are not rejected?
So, there are various reasons when claims are rejected. One is you have not intimated on time. As I said, before getting admitted or immediately after getting admitted in the next 24 hours, you have to intimate the claim. There are certain conditions where you are not able to make an intimation, like if you are alone, for example, or if you are in a different city, or if you are in a very small town where you don't have network coverage, for example. In those cases, even if you intimate after 1 or 2 days, they can, condone that delay and process the claim. But ideally, you should always denote your claim as soon as possible. As soon as you come to know that one is going to get hospitalized, intimate your claim. Second thing is, fill your claim form properly. Ensure your hospital and your doctor has signed properly. Because any missing information on the claim form will cause a rejection. Attach all documents, all bills, all prescriptions, all reports, everything, with the documents. Sometimes what happens is, you get the claim, you get the reports, the hospital will give you the reports, but there is no prescription given to you because, the doctor is signed in the register somewhere. And
also in the diagnostic report only, they write the prescriptions and the medicines all in the same report.
Yes, so in such cases, it is always better to ask the doctor, seeing that you are going to claim it later on, so please give me a separate prescription, a separate letter there, and they usually give, there's no issue in that. But always get a documentation. The thing is, you have to file the claim within 30 days. As soon as you are discharged, ensure you file within 30 days. Because sometimes people don't file within 30 days, they file after 2-3 months. Now that is the problem, in most cases rejection is because of submitting the claim documents very late. Again, as I said, you can make a request saying that, for whatever reason you are not able to submit. But again, as per terms and conditions mentioned on the policy, the company has every right to reject your claim if you have not submitted within 30 days.
Even if you submitted, if it's not under the exact health issues, they will reject it. This is also another possibility.
No, there are some diagnostic tests which take a long time to give you results. Like, there are some tests which take about 14 days or 21 days to
Yeah,
do.
some reports to come.
Even in that case, what you can do is you can file your claim, give them the claim forms and whatever bills you have, and tell them that you have these outstanding items or these pending reports. You will submit a post-hospitalization claim at the earliest.
Right, after we get.
So you have done your work. Now the company knows that this person has undergone this test and he's expecting his reports in a few days, and you submit the claim later on. But at least your main claim is registered and the company can begin processing that claim, in the meantime.
So, like people like me who do not have a job, like what would be your advice to those people who cannot get an insurance? Like, are there any ways which we can protect us financially?
Sorry, what insurance you said?
I said some people cannot claim some insurances, right? They cannot make insurance. So what would be your advice to people how to claim an insurance, or who cannot get an insurance? How would you advise them?
Now, policies in the market which are available for almost all sorts of survivors. There is a cancer survivors policy. There is a policy for cardiac patients. There is a policy for diabetics. There is even a policy for autistic children. So there are specialized covers available. Sadly, there is no specialized cover available for IVD. I have been trying my level best, with certain firms to, see if they can come up with a pilot policy. But so far, I have not been successful. So mostly the cover is available for almost all sorts of survivors also. Even cancer survivors get policies. But if you are not able to get policy, unfortunately there is not much you can do about it. What you can do is still try and get a term life insurance policy, which is mostly given to everyone except cases of terminal illness. Like if somebody is in end stage of cancer, there is no doubt nobody will give you a policy. But if somebody has IBD, then you can easily get term policies. There is no issue with that, because IBD does not affect Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. That does not mean you will not live for 80 years or 85 years. Most people lead a normal lengthy life.
Yeah, it's a very young age.
Yes.
Acha,
the other way to get sorry, I'm not finished yet. The other way to get covered is you can get covered in group insurance scheme. Like if the company is having a policy, generally they do not have an exclusion for IBD or cancer or any other disease. They usually cover everything. You can even ask the bank. If you have an account with, say, any PSU bank, they also have cover for all their account holders. So you can pay a premium every year from a bank account, and you will be covered in the bank, the Mediclaim policy. Similarly, for some private societies also they have cover. A lot of associations, retired employees association, the insurance association, in some of these manufacturing companies, you have these unions, workers union. All these insurance companies, all these which company and
I have a question, like why is IBD excluded? Why it being a very big disease with so many people getting affected every year, still insurance companies don't cover it. So what is the reason behind it?
See, the primary reason is the treatment is very expensive. Especially if you are on biologics, each injection will cost you ₹1,00,000 or more. And generally, they are prescribed, for a longer duration. Like, you could be asked to take 12 biologic Remicade or infliximab or any of these biologics. So the reason being, see, earlier if you see until a few years back, even cancer was not covered. Cancer patients had similar issues. It was through very intensive lobbying by the Cancer Patients Aid Association (CPA) that cancer is now included. Similarly, earlier diabetes, hypertension was also considered a permanent exclusion. Almost everything was linked to hypertension or diabetes. You know, so now even those are covered. They just mention a policy saying that it's a pre-existing condition, and they give a policy. So same question, I have put forward to the authorities saying that IBD is not fatal. Not at least of the level of cancer, for example. Also, the age expectancy is the similar, for a normal person. So I said, why exclude? Again, these things will take a few more years, to get normalized. Because right now, another issue that we are facing is misdiagnosis. A lot of patients with IBD are generally misdiagnosed as having TB. Now, that is another issue, because if you are misdiagnosed, then claiming will also become a problem. Because if you are misdiagnosed, you will not be given the usual Mesacols and the Pentasars or the biologics. TB is treated in a different manner. The TB is treated with antibiotics, and antibiotics can make you drug resistant. Now, if you become drug resistant, again, there is a problem. Every other illness, you will have to take certain precautions. You will have to get hospitalized. Even for a normal fever, you have to get hospitalized. You may even have to be put into a ICU. Now, in such cases, again, your claims will get rejected because your insurance company will ask you, why did you get admitted to ICU? After the fever hua tha. You don't know your underlying problems. You don't know that you are immunocompromised, and getting hospitalized in a normal ward or a room can expose you to different infections. Like even right now, the risk factor for us, IBD patients, is quite high compared to the normal population. Because if anybody of us catches COVID, it's going to be a long haul. It's going to be a really difficult task to recover. I mean, that's what so far, if you go by the COVID IBD registry, I think 100% success ratio is there. None of the IBD patients have died of COVID, but the time period to recover is more than 30 days. The average time period, I think, is around 34 days for an IBD patient to recover from COVID.
Right. Okay. Suppose people who do not have a job, being an IBD patient myself also, I don't have a job. So can I develop an insurance? Means can I go to an insurance company and get a policy without having a job?
Generally, yes. I mean, if you see, getting the policy is on two factors. One is obviously your health. The whole policy is made for your health only. So the company thinks, should I give insurance to this person? How healthy is it? Generally, have tables, that in your age group, what is the claim ratio? What are the diseases that are common in your age group? And how much claim I should charge for a person. The second point which the company covers is whether you are able to pay the premium. Your premium paying capability is also one of the factors which influences the decision to give you or not give you the policy. So generally in IBD cases, the company knows that this person is bound to claim, if not now, then the next 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, whenever. But there is not a lot of claims that will come through. So, they may not issue a policy or they may issue a policy with loading.
Okay, some companies might reject my IBD illness, but after getting admitted in a hospital, maybe the insurance will not cover my diagnosis or anything. Will they cover my medicinal expenses and other hospital expenses? If not the...
Taken a policy. If you have taken a policy and if there is an exclusion on it regarding IBD, then nothing is covered. If there is no exclusion,
Hmm.
If it's a normal policy, if there was no exclusion, if it's an old policy, for example, for 10 year back, induction, so that person can claim for IPD also. There is no issue. It will be covered.
Okay. Which amount of policy would be helpful for a person who doesn't get a job? Which is the safest and the easiest amount that one can claim for taking an insurance? Which is
So
the minimum amount?
sometimes what happens is, see, as I said, the premium paying capability is also considered. Also, if you are without a job, how are you going to pay the hospital bills? So that is one thing also that you have to consider. Don't think that I will just upload my responsibility onto the insurance company, just get a policy, and then I'm carefree. I don't have to worry, because nowadays the insurance amount is also becoming insufficient. Earlier people used to have a 1 lakh policy. Now even a 5 lakh policy is insufficient. Even for COVID, the average claim size is about 8 lakhs in a good hospital in Bombay. So even 5 lakh cover is falling short actually. So if you are trying to take a cover, without a job, ensure that you have some other ways of coping with the expenses. Because what will happen is, without a job, the company will give you just a 1 lakh policy. Will not give you a 5 lakh cover. So that is as good as not having a policy, because if the cost is going to be 5 lakhs or 8 lakhs, you are still left without a reasonable cover.
Okay. And like, as you yourself an IBD patient, so what changes are you expecting from the insurance institute, or are you doing any work to improve the insurance condition for IPD patients in near future?
Yes. So as I said, I frequently come in touch with senior management of insurance. Whenever I meet them or whenever there's a meeting, I try to spend time explaining the problem to them. My doctor is also very cooperative. To go to a gastro, write to oblige. You can write to IID also, highlighting your condition. There are many people who have started websites. I think on our group, Rashi has a website, there are many people who are doing active lobbying, like Nikhil is doing right now here in India. There's Tina Aswani in New York. Many other IBD lobbyists are there around the world. So we need to keep pushing our governments, we need to keep pushing our insurance companies to come up with a product that helps us. We are in a position where cancer patients were 30 years back. In the 80s, a cancer patient had similar struggles to get an insurance. So now we have to ensure that we create similar lobbies. We keep making our voices heard wherever, on whichever platform we get. Like whenever there is an annual conference or any health event in the city, I ensure that I talk to people. I ensure that I talk to the medical underwriters, because they are the people who are taking decisions for the insurance company. They are the people who will say, okay, yes, Adil can get this policy, or no, Adil cannot get this policy. So they are the persons who have to be influenced. They are the persons who have to be explained that why you should get a policy, why they should not reject your proposals, and why this is like any other, like people like having diabetes or hypertension will get a policy. Why not a person with diabetes? They have several challenges, even asthma.
Okay, so Nikhil, do we have any more questions on insurances?
Yeah, Suparna, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, so one question we have is it better to take group insurance from employer or a personal health insurance? And if they're offering both, so should we take both or should we take one or the other? So, yeah, Adil.
So, as I said before, we can't be choosy about it. We are getting very limited cover. The more cover you get, the better. So, first things first, your employer cover has to be available because it doesn't come with any pre-existing conditions. You can claim it for LBD, so that's a must. Once you have that cover, second thing is try for your own policy because you will be in between jobs or if you are without a job, then there is no issue of employer covering it for you. At that point in time, the personal policy will take over. Once you have a personal policy, the next step is to take a term health cover, which will cover your life, and a critical care cover, which will cover, God forbid, if your IBD progresses to colon cancer or something, really bad, then the critical care policy will also help.
Okay, and we have one more question. Nowadays, there are unit-linked life insurances, and they also ask about pre-existing conditions. So, if we don't declare the conditions, will the claim be rejected?
Life insurance will trigger only upon death. So there is no question of your claim being rejected.
Okay.
It covers death by any reason. It could be any condition, any disease. Only in first year, suicide is not covered for obvious reasons. And terrorism is not covered. Like if you are in a terrorist zone or if you are in a war zone, for example. Those two things will not be covered. Everything else is covered. Even if you die of an unknown disease or if you die of COVID, then that is covered.
And there are some expensive this procedures like capsule endoscopy. So is there any way that patients can claim for that?
As I said, capsule endoscopy first of all is not available in India, not to my knowledge. And even if it's available, you can claim it if it's part of your hospitalization claim. So if you just go for a capsule endoscopy, get it done and come home, don't do anything about it, no, your claim will not be paid. But if there are any findings, if there is any procedure to be done, or if you are admitted, for treatment, then obviously the claim is paid.
Can we know what are the gastro procedures that can be covered? Because as IBD has so many procedures, for a patient, doctor can do any procedure. So what are the list of procedures that can be covered exactly for IBD patients?
Everything is covered, as I said, See, in the newer policies, IBD is a permanent exclusion, which means any procedure is excluded. Wherever it is not mentioned, everything is covered. Your endoscopy is covered, any perineal procedure is covered, any fistula is covered, any set-on changes is covered, any hemicolectomy is covered, any J pouch is covered, any total hemicolectomy is covered, everything is covered.
Okay, and is there any benefit to taking a term plan if you have IBD or any chronic illness?
The term plan is given to chronic illness. As I said, it is not given to people with terminal illness.
Okay.
Like a person who is in end-stage cancer who knows he is going to die in next 6 months, company will obviously not cover him. But as IBD patients, we don't have that restriction. We know that we can have a normal life expectancy. So there is no reason why you should not get term cover. If at all, generally what happens is you may not qualify for a high value term cover. For example, a normal person of say age 35 years can get a 1 crore term policy. Whereas an IBD patient with 35 years, they may not give him a 1 crore cover, they will give him 50 lakh cover. So in that case, what he can do is he can gradually build up his cover by buying separate policies like ULIPs or endowment policies. So he can take a 50 lakh cover and probably we can buy say ULIPs and all these small policies. And total cover will automatically expand to 1 crore.
Okay, and some insurance companies, actually this happened with a friend of mine. So he had an insurance, but they said they would cover any drug, but they wouldn't cover biologics. So is there any way so that can be claimed, or these things are not mentioned in the terms and conditions? So how do patients navigate around these things?
Now, First of all, it has to be mentioned. If it is not mentioned, obviously you can challenge them. You can ask them to show where it is mentioned that violations will not be followed. See, everything that is rejected in your claim, every item has to be specifically mentioned
Okay.
in the brochure of that particular policy. Because only after that, detailed list is submitted to IIDA, they allow you to sell that policy in the market. So the companies will not be covered, and they must have mentioned it, got an approval from IIDA for them. So they have to produce. If they are not able to produce, you can obviously complain to the ombudsman or to the ITMS system,
Okay.
and IIDA will take a look at it.
Okay, and how do these companies decide these policies? So, is there any way, is there any higher authority that governs these, and where we can go and like demand for a better cover for IBD people? So, what decides, what
Generally
makes
what
this?
happens is,
Yeah.
generally what happens is the private insurers, they have, they launch a policy on a pilot basis for around 2 or 3 years. Then they see what the claim experience is like. Then they fine tune it, tailor it, reduce or increase the premium amounts and so on. They also generate their modality tables, how many people in what age group are dying, what age group are claiming, and so on. So there's a lot of actuarial work that goes behind the scenes. And once they have that data, they actually, launch that policy formally. After the pilot launch, there is a soft launch where only the employees of the company or closed community people are given the policies. And once the IID approves that policy, it is launched India-wide, national basis.
Okay.
Can we reach out to them and can we reach out to the policy makers with our request to include IBD or any email IDs where we can contact them?
See, you can contact your health ministers. That is one contact. You can contact medical underwriters in many of these companies. There are a lot of places you can contact. Unfortunately, the problem here is, nobody knows how to, make this into a law. Like, before any of these companies implement it, the Insurance Act will have to be amended. For Insurance Act to be amended, it has to be, passed in both the House of Parliament. So, definitely writing to the health minister or any minister, or local MLA also can be helpful, if he or she can put it across and get the person sitting in the well of the parliament to take up your cause. Prachi has already started that process. She has met a couple of ministers, she's that point. There are many people like us who are trying at their local or state levels, So as I said, it's a matter of time, before somebody listens to us.
Yeah. Okay. So Adil, do you have any final words to say to patients with IBD regarding insurance? Any advice would you like to give?
One thing I would say is, this is what I say, a very cruel illness. It doesn't spare anybody. In fact, more than us, our caregivers, our family are most hit. But try and be positive, keep your head light. You all have to fight it together. If anyone has any issues with getting insurance or managing their finance, please call me or email me. I think it's very one thing is don't cry about it. I mean, crying is not going to help. You have to be very positive. You have to fight it out. There's no other way. You're not going to fight this condition by giving up or crying forward.
Okay. Okay then. Thanks so much for discussing.
So thank you,
Thank
Adil,
you,
for
Supana. Thank you,
yeah.
Nikhil. Whatever questions I've just typed it out and I'll put it on the chat, so people can refer to it later on.
Yeah. We'll also
Sure.
share your this link with them so they can ask you questions
Yes.
on their own. And thanks a lot for doing this.
Yes,
And,
thank you so much for giving some valuable advice.
Yeah, and so I think we should end now. I think so. It's almost time.
Yes.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, Adil, and like best of luck to you as well. So
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, all of you take care. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you take it. Okay, so thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you.